Okay, hello there. In this video, I'm going to display how this Wakissha item 1 2024 was supposed to be done. So it is Wakissha item 1 ICT 2024, this number here. Yes. I'll first do this number, then in the following videos I'll do the second item of that exam. Now this was the first item in the examination. Timina, a certain primary school where the class teacher keeps people's records on papers, some of which are misplaced and others at times destroyed by forces of nature. At the end of the year, some parents raised concerns about the availability of and accuracy of performance records presented to them. Okay, now in the statement here, Timina has a class teacher who keeps records on papers and they are always misplaced and parents are raising concerns. Now, second statement, one new parent advised and suggested to the school that a computer system be adopted to manage people's records. The idea was welcomed, but all the members are computer literate. Yes, that a parent has raised concerns that a computer system can be used to manage students' records, and most of them don't know how to use computers. I continue to the text statement. The records from papers were extracted and provided in the support file, pupils records document. Now that is a word processor file, and it's in the support folders we're supposed to use in the exam. And a simple note is for pupils with fees balance in the file, defaulters.doc, and even there's another file, a word processor file with fees defaulters. We shall look at both in the support files. Now the task is using the support files provided, create an electronic storage of pupils records and use it to generate number 1 total for each pupil squad and a graphical representation of pupils performance, and lastly generate printable documents for each pupil as a reminder to parents about fees balance. Now in this number here, Elena was supposed to incorporate almost 3 programs. Number 1 is Microsoft Excel, electronic storage. Number 2, you can also store a part of your work in database, you can import. Number 3, Elena was also supposed to use a word processor to generate the letters. Now this is the actual thing. Now these are the support folders for that paper. I will try to attach them in at the video so that you can get them. If you open them, item 2, the support files are, sorry, these ones are empty. Let me look for them here. Okay, defaulters, search for defaulters here. Defaulters, let me pick it here. Defaulters, Wakissha, ICT, support folder, support files, desktop, Wakissha, support folders, Wakissha. Okay, they are here. Let me use these ones here. Let me take this image for the paper, copy it to this, paste. Okay, now this is S4. The support folders are right here, and we're going to use defaulters and pupils. If I open defaulters is having some content within. That is the content I'm loading right now for defaulters, and even pupils is having some content as well. So, and they're trying to open up. Okay, now this is defaulters. This is a file for defaulters. Those the letters that are supposed to be sent to parents for the learners who had maybe who have balances of fees. Excuse me. And having seen defaulters, now this is pupils. Another record, another file to be used was pupils in the exam. Now whenever a learner is doing an exam, more so practical exam in the new curriculum, Senior 4, there is advice to create the, of course, this has been done in most cases. Guide for Wakissha. Now here a learner can put their name. They can type their name and the personal number as their name of the folder, and inside they create subfolders. Right click, new, subfolder, item 1, then create another subfolder. Right click, new, item 2. Okay. Now, whatever a learner is doing in item 1 should be placed in item 1, and whatever a learner is doing in item 2 should be placed in item 2. Now, for the case of the video, I'm doing item 1, so I'm going to use the item 1 support folder. Now, back to the question. The question is now placed inside here. It's right here. Now in the question here, they want us to use support files provided to create an electronic storage of pupils records. Now we're going to first deal with that, the electronic storage of pupils records. If you want to create the electronic storage of pupils records, you're going to just create a new Excel worksheet. Excel is going to help you first of all store data, and it's going to help you in this question that we are talking about, this one of total per each student. You're going to generate their totals. Excel does that, and it can also represent data graphically. Excel can also do that. Yes, that's why we're first creating an Excel worksheet file. So you're going to rename. Renaming is very important in whichever number done practically, and of course you rename according to the question. Now we're going to rename ours Timina pupils, maybe, because we are not specified on how to rename. That was done back then in the old questions, but in most of the new questions you're not specified on the renaming. A learner is supposed to use their general knowledge to rename. Now I can rename this as Timina electronic storage. Yes. So if I open Timina electronic storage, it's going to be Excel opened, and then I can load data into Excel. So Excel is opening. While I look at this question here, they had noted that the records from the papers were extracted and provided in the support file pupils records. So we need a support file pupils records so that we can load them into our electronic storage. And it's right here in the support folders we are using. Pupils records is around here. Okay, so if I open pupils records, it's having some electronic storage. They were just noted down, and they want us to store them electronically in Excel. Where is store electronically in Excel? Excel does it best. Now in the storage, there is a learner's name. That is one. It's what I can note. There is fees balance. There is English mark. There is math. There is SST, ETC, and science. So even in our Excel, we're going to do the renaming. For example, we're going to rename this pupils name. A moment. Pupils name as the first column. Now in the second column it was fees balance. Next, if I can make use of this, English, Math, SST, Science. English, Math, SST, and Science. Okay, now those were the headings for our electronic storage, and I've already typed them there. So we had to filling in data of the pupils. Now the data of the pupils, of course, is going to be taken from this file, pupils records. Now a learner is not supposed to change anything in the support folders. You're just supposed to use support folders in just copying and pasting in what you're doing. You don't have to change the support folders. So I head to the students' names. I can note the first student was Nanule. Well, I've just taken a picture of this to easily copy it. Nanule has a fees balance of 300,000. Okay. And English, Nanule scored by 70. Math, Nanule scored 88. SST, Nanule scored the 610. And Science, English 70, 40 Math, 88 SST, Science 60. 70 English, Math 40. Math 40, SST 88, and this 60. So we head quickly to another learner. Another learner is Sevunya. Sevunya scored. Sevunya has 250 balance. English, Sevunya has 80. 50 Math, 78. Next, and 55. Quickly, another learner. Aine Viana. Aine Viana has a balance of 60. Aine Viana scored 60. 60 in English. 60 in English. 70 in Math, and 59 SST. You should be very careful when you're filling in this data because it's prone to mistakes. It's prone to mistakes because of the nature of how data is given to a learner. It's prone to mistakes, so you should be very careful when you're filling in the data. And this one is Nkomazi. Nkomazi as a learner. Nkomazi has 50k balance. 50k balance. Nkomazi has 50, 66, 50, 66, 78, and 66. Okay. Next is Niyagala. Niyagala has his balance of 70,000. Niyagala has 87, 66, 87, then 610, 62, 62, what else, 17. One of the last learners is Bossa. Bossa has his balance of 80,000. Bossa has 77, 60, and 90, then 70. Next learner is Namato. Namato has a fees balance of 100,000. Okay, then Namato has a 60 at 45, 72, and 50, And lastly, it's a Kasoma. Kasoma has 90k face balance. Kasoma 80. Kasoma has 60 here. 77. And 80. Okay. 80. Now I've already created the electronic storage of data. So I've already utilized this, the PPU's records. So even if I close this, I'm going to just go to some of the simple calculations and the formatting features in Excel. Okay. Now back to the question here. The question, I could first do what the question requires. I first focus on what the question requires, and then I can just add on some learners' creativity or some excellency marks. Now I've been told to create an electronic storage of figures, and I've already done it. So I'm going to do the total per learner, and then I'll do a graphical representation of learners' marks. So I can generate a label total here. Then we all know that we can get totals by use of a function. Now this is a function I'm using. I can use a function to get total by just doing this. Okay, then now as you can see that there's some learners who could have better scores in the spreadsheet. For example, English, there's someone with an 80, 80, 80. So 80 is a very good score. A learner can decide to use conditional formatting to color whatever 80 that's among the scores. So I can use a conditional formatting to color the 80s, because 80s could be extraordinary. Yeah, to a learner, I could just highlight, go to conditional, format only cells that contain, then cell value greater than 80. Then how do we format? You can decide to give them a color. It could be a red color to highlight the learners who had that extraordinary score of 180. As a wait for my computer to respond. Now, after doing the conditional formatting, I'll draw a graph as it was asked as well. Now this is the color. I could choose the color red, maybe for the learners who got 80, or anyway, I can go with the green. Green represents success in computers anyway. So I click OK, and then you see the extraordinary marks are just highlighted with the green color. So these headings, of course, a heading is always outstanding. You just highlight them and give them a bigger size. A heading is always outstanding. It's always outstanding, and you can decide to wrap them. Yes, it makes sense, and maybe these ones will not be wrapped if you just increase on the size. Okay. Now I would have created a heading on top of the spreadsheet, but I'm going to import it to database, and the heading could affect what I'm importing to database. So I can do that by, I can first put this work at sheet 2. Email at this work and cut. Yes, Control X. Cut, right click, paste. Okay. The work is now at sheet 2, and I could just adjust these headings to be appropriate. This is kind of better. Okay, it's better. Then I can go to sheet 1, and I can put there a link. For example, I can type here Timina electronic storage of PPU's data as the heading. Yes, then I can highlight. I just go to merge and center. You give it a bold color and a bigger size. You see, you can give it a highlight color, then this other color. Yes, Timina. electronic storage of people's data. Then here you can type something like click here to view pupils. Click here to view pupils electronic data. I can do the same here. I could just merge and center, and I can also make it a link. I just click at it, then I go to insert and then after going to insert I look for hyperlink, then link to existing file, current folder. I want to link to existing file, this one here, Timina, place in this document. Then I want to link to, and this text link to sheet 2, because sheet 2 is having our electronic storage. Then I click OK. So any user who clicks at this, they are forwarded to let me see, Timina electronic storage sheet 2. Let me see whether sheet 2 is having the data I want. Sheet 2. Okay, let me go back to this, back to hyperlink. I'm trying to place in this document, then I link to sheet 2, type the reference. Looks like my links are not working. First delete this, then type sheet 2, then hyperlink, place in this document, link to sheet 2, click OK. No, sheet the link that I wanted to display is not working here. Anyway, I could first leave that, then back to this. Now I've already done the total, and as it was required in the questions, I've already done it, and a graphical representation. Now a graphical representation of the previous performance, you should select an appropriate graph. Anyway, let me rename sheet 1, introduction sheet, then sheet 2, I can rename it sheet 2, right click, rename, Timina data. Okay, then I can create sheet 3 where I'm going to put my graphical representation. Yes, then back to sheet 2, the one I want to use to draw the graph. So if I want to draw the graph, I'm going to just highlight the pupil's name and highlight all the subjects therefore. Then I go and select a 3D appropriate graph. I think this one is better. It's going to be generated and it is right there, but again it is so lacking. A graph should have a lot. Let me first take this graph to the sheet for the graph. Right click, cut, then this, right click, paste. So if you paste it at this sheet here, of course you could first increase the size and then you do whatever change you want on the graph. I'll start with the title. The graph should have an appropriate title. I click at this box. If you don't have this title of the graph at your computer, just click at design, then you look for add chart element, then you go to chart title, you select above, but I already have it, it's here. So I type an appropriate heading, for example, Timina, I can type graphical representation of Timina pupils performance. Yes, makes sense. The title makes sense. Well, you could just You could just make it a title, of course. The titles have bigger letters. They are bold with the color that fits your graph, etc. Okay. Now even a graph can have the x-axis. Back to the graph, click at the graph, select design, select add chart element. You go to axis titles, then primary horizontal. This, you rename it according to what it holds. It's holding pupils, actually not students, but pupils names. Same applies to y-axis. Go back to add chart elements, then the axis titles, vertical, primary vertical. Y, then delete this, and these are pupils scores. Yes, pupils scores. Now a graph can also have a legend. You go back to this, give it a legend. A legend is always on the right. A legend is this. Then you can go back to these and highlight them, give them the appropriate colors. The colors could match the heading because, I think it makes sense. Same applies to this. Okay. Now back to the graph. I can click at the graph and then I give it some. Here they are grid lines. Grid lines. I think grid lines are always indicating the actual marks of a learner. I can first go with this, but I really want the bars to be having marks indicated. For example, Nanule has English. English is blue, but someone could not be sure of the mark if they look at the graph. So it's better you present the marks with some numbers, maybe on top of the bars. So you could select a graph that really portrays that. If I point at these graphs, they are all kind of different, but there's a type of graph I want that is representing that's putting the marks on top of the bars. Now this one could be better, but I think the color is not suiting what I want. So I not select it. Let me go back to this data labels. Okay. Yeah, data labels here. Data labels none. Then this is kind of complicated. Select this. Show leader, value, category name, separator. Anyway, I think this is better, where learners' score is represented at the bar. Makes sense. Now this is a very good graph that could earn a learner all the marks with a graph. If you're putting a color at a graph, be careful of the colors you put at the graph. A graph could have light colors. Now this is it with the graphical representation of data. Back to the data here. Now we can decide to put some currency here. Of course, it's Ugandan currency. Right click, format. After highlighting, look for currency. Select Uganda. Uganda is here because the learners are from Uganda. UGX. UGX is okay. Now all these can be done by a learner, but a learner is supposed to first do the questions that were asked, then they can carry out all the creativity. Now just like what I'm doing, I first did total, then I did the graph, and then I'm carrying on with the creativity. Yes, the colors, etc. These are background colors. We select a background color. All borders, so important at Excel. Okay. Then I could do this as the last part of Excel, I think. I could put some remarks. Yes, a learner can have remarks there. It wasn't asked, but it goes back to someone's creativity. Remarks. Some want to remark based on their total. If a learner is above 250, they get a remark of nice result. If they are below 250, they get a remark of keep trying. So here I can use the if function. If this is above equal to 250, comma, what happens? I put nice result, close the quotes, comma, another if g2 is less 250, comma, what happens? In quotes, keep trying. Okay, they will try, they will make it. So press enter, then I autofill. This person of keep trying could have a color, so they're easily identified, they're easily dealt with. Okay, now this is my Excel, and it is graphically representing the data. Back to this. Now I tried to put a link here, but the link wasn't responding because I think some programs have opened and they are retarding the link from working. Now the link was supposed to have a goal of taking me to sheet 2 because I couldn't create a heading at sheet 2. The heading could affect my importing to database. That's how I was trying to put a link there. Okay, that's how it's doing this. It's not taking me to the sheet I want. Let me see whether I can make this a link. Existing file, current folder, desktop, existing file, current folder, desktop. Then I'm using this item 1, this. Okay, I click at this. Anyway, they are all not responding. Let me leave this. Let me leave this. Now back to the Excel. I'm going to import. You can decide to import this to database because database can also keep your data safely. So in my folder, I can create database there. Before I create database, I think let me first deal with the letters. Let me first deal with the letters. Okay. Back to this. The letters were generated in the defaulters file. Let me copy defaulter to my folder. I'm using defaulter, copy and paste defaulters. Let me open it, and then I see whether I can generate letters to the pupils who are having a fees balance. It's trying to open, it's opening, and quickly I'm going to generate the learners with the fees balances. Now here there is a debt, determine primary debt, parent of, learner's name will go here, etc, and the balance will go here. I think that is it. It was so easy. So just look at mailings, then you go to select recipients, and then you go to use existing. It's a use existing list. Yes, then I'm going to look for my list. List can be on desktop, and it's in this folder I've been using. In item 1, then this one. I click open. This one is the electronic storage. Open. So it's going to open the Excel because I want to link using Excel to Word. So the Excel I created has a lot of sheets. I don't need the sheet of graphic, and I don't need the introduction sheet. I need this sheet with data. So I click OK. Then the machine is going to load the sheet to my word processor. Put your cursor here. I can decide to eliminate this, and then I put I put a learner's name. Go to that merge field, then pupil's name, it will go there. Then here I'll delete this. Shillings, insert merge field, money here, fees balance. Okay, then I think that's it. That is it. Yes, it's right. Then I just finish and merge. Edit individual letters and then all. Click OK. So the letters are going to be generated, and there are 8 letters. Nalule, Kalogo with their balances. Okay. Then if they're generated, you close. If the printer is nearby, you could just command Control P. You could just command there and then print the individual letters. Now my printer is here, and it is ready. How let's Packard. Just print. Yes. Then if you don't have a printer nearby, you save first, close and hit save, and give it a location. In some cases, after merging, the file will need a location. Give it an appropriate location to avoid your letters from getting lost. Give it an appropriate location. Click at desktop. I'm using a folder, guide for Wakissha YouTube, then item 1. Give it a very good path. Then desktop default as I'm around here, Timina Primary School. I can maybe change it to letters. I can add letters. Click save. Okay, and the letters are going to be saved in your folder. You don't mind about this. This was the step I followed first. I was putting a name and a balance. You also save it, close and save. And go to yes, click OK. Okay, now this is item 1. This is Excel, this is letters, and this is what I followed when I was trying to merge. So I can also create a database as an electronic storage. Now database, I could rename it Timina database. And then I just import in database. When I'm importing, I don't need my Excel to be open. I close Excel, of course. You can't import something that is open in Excel. So while database is opening, I'm closing Excel, and I've already closed it. Enable content, create. I'm looking for import external data, import from Excel, of course, and browse. Okay, desktop, importing from my folder, item 1. I'm importing from Timina. Click open. Next. Okay. Then what are you importing? I'm importing this data here. I don't need the introduction sheet. I don't need the graphical sheet. I need this sheet here. Yes. So I want to click next, and then first row contains headings. Correct. Next. Choose my own primary key. Choose my own primary key. For the case of the table, there was no appropriate primary key. As I look at the name, fees, you see there's no appropriate primary key, so I can go to let access, generate the primary key. Next, then finish, then close. So my table is already loaded, and the work is stored in database as well. Now that took a learner's creativity, and I can close the table, then close database. I think that was it all with the question. Maybe I've generated printable letters, I've done graphical, I've done total, I've added in some other formatting features, electronic storage, etc. Now that was item 1 of Wakissha. If I open item 1, I've done all. Yes, I think I've done all, and yes, that was it for the question. That was it for the question. Apart from the link that was not working, let me close this. Let me first close everything at my machine. First close everything at my machine. Okay, let me first close everything apart from my recording here. Back to Excel. Timina. Okay, misdemeanor is right here. Okay, let me put here click to sheet 2. I was using this at the workplace and it was working, and my machine is not responding. I don't know whether it's an internet connection. I'm lucky. Click and make it a link. These are the steps of making it a link. If you want to do links, you can follow these steps and see whether it will work at your machine. If you want to link to introduction, then you click OK. Then if you click at this, anyway, it's not working here, but it's giving it a path of a link. Okay, that was it all with the Wakissha number. The subscribers to my channel, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I thank shareability groups. I'm getting a lot of feedback from them. Individual people, thank you for the subscriptions, thank you for the views. More of the items are coming in. That was item 1 of Wakissha 2024 ICT paper 2 that was done this week, I think some 3 days back. Okay, keep on subscribing, keep on the views. Thank you for everything. Thank you for viewing my video. A nice weekend.